going southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I'll slow down, standing in the pouring rain.
What's going on, guys? Tristan and Tony back with a solo episode on video, and you might have noticed the podcast table's different. We got a little bit cooler of a look going on here.
We do.
Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. We're going to kind of just talk, what we've been up to, talk about some cool things we got in the works. But, what's going on, Dad?
You know what? We've had a lot of things happen. We've had Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. You turned 29.
I did, on the 28th.
I had your birthday, and we had a lot of people, friends had birthday. Cade had a birthday.
It's a lot of November and October birthdays.
Colton had a birthday. I see little Chase had a birthday. Man, there's been a lot of birthdays. But
there is.
No, man, it's just it's that time of the year, man. That's right. I thought when you said it best on that reel, like, we're back, baby. And I'm like, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And no, we've been all over the place. I've been in Missouri deer hunting. I don't think we even talked about that.
No, we haven't.
Did some hunting with Cade. We had opening weekend to talk about. We got potential honker smash if we can make it happen with Cal. We got
still been chasing deer here in Georgia, trying to make it happen.
Been chasing the deer, and but yeah, man, just a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, we're gonna dive into some public land deer hunting, bow hunting strategy later. So any of you bow hunters, that might find that interesting, especially public land hunters. We're gonna dive into a little bit of that. Mm-hmm. But kind of like what he said, we're just gonna kind of give you guys a recap of what we've been up to. One quick thing, a couple just like quick announcements, I guess, like housekeeping is one. We got new hats on the way. So this hat that I have on and the hat he has on, they're both Richardson hats. I'm getting them both done, but not in the same colors. We're getting a different camo one. This is actually going to be like a duck camo too. They're all going to be leather patches. Some are going to be duck, some are going to be buck, but they're all going to say One Hell of a Life. So stay tuned for that. Going to be dropping those here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Outside that, we really appreciate you guys when you rate the podcast or anything like that. I don't know how that stuff works, but I think in algorithms, like the more ratings that we get that are positive, the more we get suggested to people. So if you wouldn't mind dropping us a review, rating, that kind of thing, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, whatever platform you listen on, man.
Yeah,
whether it's YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever platform you're on, man. Just a real quick one would be great. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
The other thing I will say that I don't think we've talked about either, and if we did, then I apologize, is that big thing for us, dude. We 2,000 followers on YouTube.
Yeah, 2,000 subs on YouTube. That happened probably, I don't know, 6 weeks ago?
Yeah,
something like that.
So big deal to us. I mean, I always say to everybody, you might hear 2,000, and if you don't put it in reality, like if you put it in the reality of digital, then you're like, 2,000, right? But I always say, if you put 2,000 people in your backyard, man, that's a lot of people. Yeah, that is a whole lot of people. And if I went every time somewhere and 2,000 people were going to show up, bro, I'd be excited.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of people. So we appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. We just try to keep it real and just bring you the reality of everything that we do. So
absolutely. And on the YouTube thing, I don't know how many people know this, but we're doing the full video now on YouTube. So if you want to just sit here and feel like, I guess, like you're in the room with us and stare at us,
yeah,
you can watch us on YouTube too. But yeah. So that's a new thing.
Big shout out. This guy right here. and his crew. Williamson Outfitters, you guys, they've been ripping them up. They've been tearing.
Yeah, it looks like off to a great start.
Yeah, dude, shot snows
too. That's
the other day.
Cool in Florida.
But Chris, big shout out to you and Bryce and the whole crew. Thank you so much for supporting us. We really appreciate it. And I guess to pay a few more bills, Frog Talks, man. Hey, listen, we could not do this without you guys. Our biggest supporter for sure, man. Thank you, Donnie. Thank you, everybody, the whole family over there at Frog Dogs believing in us. We really appreciate it. I also want to shout out to somebody that doesn't give us any financial support, and that's Bush Light. Bush Light, I've got a collection of 16 of you right up here.
No, we just give Bush Light financial support.
Yeah, we do. We give you some financial support a lot. And, you know, if you ever would happen to catch and see this and say, hey, those guys need free Bush Light, we would be glad to plug you for free for Bush Light.
Yeah.
But I've now got 16 cans. I'm very proud of it. Delta waterfowl. Dude, that's the other thing we had happen in October. We had a great event. And I think we did talk a little bit about that, but a big shout out
definitely
to
leading up to it, but
yeah, and a big shout out to those guys. I think it's just
shout out to the Justins, Taylor, all those guys over there, Stacy, regional director. There's some others that I'm missing, but everyone that went into putting that event on, I mean, it was an absolute blast and we had a great time.
Yeah, yep. And just so we're shouting out to folks that, you know, help be are part of this, and maybe you don't know it, that are so vital. Big shout out to Delta Thunder Outfitters, man. Cade, Colton, Carson,
Colton was just recently on the podcast.
Yeah.
That.
Mr. Glenn, the customers, everybody there, just thank you so much, and thank you for all the hard work you guys do behind the scenes that nobody sees. You know, it's been tough. We'll talk a little bit more about that out there, but
and to round, just I'll keep it short to round out the thank yous. Dirty Duck, we got a hunt lined up with them at Delta Thunder in January. Super excited for that. Finally getting to hunt with Jay and Buck over there. And
let's go, boys.
Shout out to our boy Matt, who's been on the podcast about 3 times, who does a lot of work with Slayer calls, sent us some duck calls, and that's what you see on the table here that are pretty slick. And they sound great too. So yeah, good stuff. But all right, so let's kind of get into, you know, what we've been up to. You know, you touched on some of it. I think the best place to start would be, you know, kind of a 30,000 foot view on your time in Missouri out there. It's pretty successful few days.
Yeah, no, just take that journey without being Mother Goose about it, which I have a tendency to do. No, Cade was nice enough to invite me out, you know, and of course, you know, we do a lot of duck hunting with Cade, but, you know, I think it's special when you get to go out and do something different with your friend. Especially, I said it before, like one time when he and I went on a goose hunt together. It was just, I want to hunt with him when he's just like being like a hunter and a friend, you know, not like stressed out about making sure people shoot waterfowl. Yeah, you know. So he invited me out to his family's farm. Super appreciative of that. Thank you again, Cade. And Colton came out and hunted. Carson came out and hunted. We had a great time. Opening morning, Kate put me right on the spot. I told him, I said, I want a young deer. I want that for the meat. It's important to me. Like that is as important to me as getting a nice rack. It really is having like that. And he put me right on the stand, you know, first morning, and I let her rip. And I'll tell you what, it was the funniest shot I've ever made on a deer. And what is it now? 42 years of bow hunting. You guys, we always bring you the reality, so I have to tell you the truth of what happened. So this deer came in and hit another deer, and they came in, they bedded down 25 yards away from me. Long story short, hours went by. It fell asleep. I was so mad. Anyway, I'm like, I'm not shooting that deer. It's first morning, whatever. And I'm like, but if you get up and you even try to walk downwind to me and snort at me and screw this stuff up, you're getting it. Sure enough, that's what she did. Just slowly started meandering over downwind of me. And I was going to have a 15-yard shot, and she just had to get through the cedar tree. I'm at full draw, and she poked her head around and looked right at me and was just like, I've already figured you out, and started doing that little happy walk away and was quartering away hard. And she stopped. And I remembered ranging this one tree that's 28 yards, and I was like, I'm taking that shot. Well, I pulled back, and it was too severe, and I'm like, just wait for her to turn. I need her to turn like 4 inches.
Yeah.
And so I got the pin. I'm just holding it. And she turned, and I let it go. As soon as I let it go and see her run off, I saw this big bloody spot, and I'm like, jamming.
Yeah.
Dude, I jammed this deer. And she ran, and I heard kind of a crash thing and nothing. I'm like, all right. So I waited for a little bit, got down, and I get to where she was, and there's nothing. I mean, nothing, dude. Nothing, not a drop of blood. And I look up there about 5 yards, 3 yards or something like that, and there's my arrow. I'm like, all right, there's my arrow. And I look at it, and it's got 2 orange fletches and a white fletch, and there isn't a drop of blood on it. I mean, none, 0, nothing. And then I put my reading glasses on and looked at the broadhead, and I'm shooting a Muzzy Trocar hybrid, so it's got 2 fixed blades and 2 expandable blades. And I took it and I went through and I looked at it with my reading glasses, and I'm like, dude, there's a hair on there. It was like crimped in the expandable blade, and I'm like, well, there's a hair, but it's one of those things, and we've all been there where you're like, dude, you start second guessing yourself. You're like, dude, I know what I saw. I saw a bloody spot that looked a couple inches, you know, and so I started looking around at just the direction she went. And I'll tell you one thing that was really unique about that terrain out there was, it's like any other big hardwoods that you see, you know, a lot of oaks, and, you know, you get your occasional cedars and pines and that kind of thing, but there's rocks and boulders everywhere, and you can literally just like, you could twist your ankle in one step. I mean, just it is kind of dangerous. And I started going down this hill, and I get down there about 65 yards, and this deer's laying there looking at me, and I'm like, that's never good, right? You know, so I thought it was dead. I left my bow hanging at the base of the tree, so I snuck back up the hill, got my bow, snuck back down there, let her have it another time, put her out of her misery, you know. But I was like, what the hell? And I walked up and I looked at this deer, dude. And Tristan, maybe you can throw up a visual of like where I'm talking about. But y'all know where like you put the slice in, like if you're going to hang your deer upside down by its back legs there in the tendons. Right above that tarsinal gland, right there, there's a big slice open. And if you're looking at a deer parallel, like this, right? Or what's the best way to do it? So you're looking at it like this. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. And you're coming at an angle. What happened is I was really about 1 inch inside from being a perfect shot. But clipped that freaking part of that leg, but underneath the bottom of that artery that runs out, and that thing, it was going to die any time, you know. But that was interesting, and you know, here you can do this forever and have these kind of crazy shots happen.
That's bow hunting.
But then the next day, I think I partied hard that night and had 4 beers. I had 4 beers.
That's pretty light.
Yeah, no, I did. I had 4 beers, partied hard, me and Ike. And then I went in, and Cade's like, well, he goes, I want you to sit over in this one spot. He goes, but, you know, it's a box blind, and this one's set up more for gun hunting. He's like, have you ever shot a deer with a crossbow? And I'm like, you know what, dude? I have never shot a deer with a crossbow. And to me, how it feels like cheating a little bit, I'm like, so what? I've never done it, so it's still a challenge and new to me.
Yeah, because in Illinois, there's kind of
This fall, elevate your outdoor pursuits with Williamson Outfitters, offering professionally guided experiences along Florida's Forgotten Coast. Whether it's coastal duck hunting, inshore fishing, gator hunting, or flounder gigging, every Williamson Outfitters experience is guided by a seasoned, licensed captain, delivering world-class adventure with local expertise. From small private groups to large corporate retreats, our fleet of well-equipped boats and experienced guides deliver first-class outdoor adventures for sportsmen of all ages and experience levels. Call or text 850-251-8650 or visit www.floridaducks.com to book your trip. Williamson Outfitters, making the Forgotten Coast unforgettable.
Stigma around it because you can only do it if you have like a disabled permit.
Is that still the law?
Last I knew,
yeah, you had to have a disability.
A lot of states though, you can do it regardless of anything.
Yeah, know? They've lifted that. Yeah. Well, I thought, well, what the hell? You know, I might as well. And hey, while I'm thinking about, big shout out to President Trump, big shout out to the VA, big shout out to the state of Missouri for supporting disabled veterans. Thank you, because you guys made it possible for me able to do this, because if not, it would have cost way too much, and my wife would have said no. So anyway, thank you. But
why do you think I wasn't out there?
Right? But he puts me in this box blind stand, and we were talking about, and he told me, he said, hey man, there's like 3 different bucks that have no eye guards. Mm-hmm. And one of them, he showed me 2 different ones Colton had seen the morning before, and Colton's like, if I would have been able to get either one of those deer stop, I would have shot.
Yeah.
And they were 3.5-year-olds, but small for 3.5-year-olds. I mean, nothing special. I'm saying, 85 to 110 inches, something like that. But they just, it was just a spindly. They're not big. They just need to go, compared to some of those other big 10s and 12s that he's had on camera. So anyway, I was sitting there first morning, and it was beautiful. It's down in these foothills of Missouri, South Missouri. Literally, when you go into this place, there's a rock road, and on the left side is Arkansas, on the right side is Missouri. And it's just a beautiful country, and everything was frosted down. I'm down in this big food plot, and this doe comes out and comes in, and I'm taking all this great footage of it, and all of a sudden, man, I just see her raise up and look down at the other end of the field, and I just see this buck come, and he does that, what I call bird dogging. His nose is down and coming right for her, and he runs around, and they play around, chase her around for about 5-10 minutes or whatever, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, dude, I don't see any eye guards on the thing. And I'm like, he's done. That's it. That's it. And he stopped out there, and dude, my first one with a crossbow, I hit him. And it's one of those times where you hit him in the shoulder, but it dislodges something from the spine. And I'd love to learn more scientifically about this, because I don't know. I just know that I've seen it many times on videos with gunshots and bow shots. And this is the first time I've experienced it. But I shot that thing and dropped him. Dude, he just dropped, and he crawled a couple steps. And within, I'd say, less than 10 seconds, he was dead.
Yeah.
And upon further review, what actually happened, when I hit that thing, I actually hit him a little high, and it deflected off the shoulder bone and went straight down through the heart.
Huh.
It actually came out like right down here.
No kidding.
Yeah, and I wasn't that high up. I think I was only, that box blind stand couldn't be more than 16 feet.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a severe angle, and it was a 31-yard shot.
Huh.
But I'll tell you the thing that was so cool about those, dude, it was like shooting a rubber band gun.
Yeah.
Just you shoot, you're like, boing. When you shoot, there's no recoil, dude. It just goes boing. I swear. And next thing you know, this deer's like, bap, and it's dead. I was like, dude, what just happened?
Yeah.
So, but that was a fun experience. And of course, I'm not even talking about all the great times we did, just the camp and all that stuff. Carson cooked us some killer ribeyes with this. I forgot, Carson, forgive me, that badass butt rub stuff that you got. But no, just all those parts too. I got to go on our first out of town trip with me. So that was fun. It was a good time.
That's awesome.
But I got plenty of meat, and that's what I'm super excited about.
That's awesome. Yeah. You gotta have the freezers full. So speaking of freezers full, so, coming off the heels of that, we've been hunting and deer hunting around here, and just trying to, with a limited amount of time, get out, when we can before duck season came in. And I think we got out a couple times during the rut. Like, you went out on after work one night and saw like good action, and we went the next.
I saw 4 bucks one night.
Yeah, went the next night, and of course didn't see anything, and just it's been like a cat and mouse game. And then we rolled into opening weekend out at Cade's, which is basically, you guys, if you've seen our YouTube, you saw the tradition last year. That's kind of just what we do for the most part. So, we're real excited to go out there for opening weekend, hunt with some good buddies that we've met on public land in Georgia. And, of course, the cast of characters you just named that was up there in Missouri with you. But,
yep.
It was, opening weekend was tough, man. Water is an issue in a lot of places out there. There's like praying for rain. I think, from what I've seen, there's some ducks around. I mean, when we're in a field with some water in it, there were some ducks that worked us, and we had opportunities. It's just, wasn't working that day or whatever. But that was kind of the story of the first split, at least at, where Cade's at out there in northeast Arkansas. I know a lot of people have experienced the same thing, but it just sounds like if you got water, you're probably
same thing on public land,
chance.
dude. Public land, everybody was freaking out, dude, doing backflips and killing people and stuff. It was just, and God bless y'all. We've been part of that before, but man, it's a struggle. Struggle's real, right? And just y'all, be fair, have fun. Remember, it's about having fun, and be safe. That's the big thing. But see, I didn't hear anything super bad reported out of that opening weekend thus far, so that's good.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen any viral fighting videos,
No.
so thank God, hopefully.
I did see a video that I was like, dude, is that video from like 10 years ago? Because there were so many boats taking off, but they did look like they was being a little safer. So
Man.
anyway, but big shout out to all you public land folks. You know, we've done it. We've been lazy about it in some aspects, I guess. We're getting ready to do some in Florida this year, which is going to be super awesome. But no, big shout out to the public land guys, because you know what? I love that fight. I got to pick my battles at my age. So,
Well, when it comes down to it too, like the last few years, like you really, if you're going to do it, you can't just go on a weekend and try to, you just have no chance. I mean, it's like,
you're wasting your time.
like, I mean, it's just, there's no way you could go into these local boys' backyard that know these properties inside and out and realistically have a chance to do anything successful. I mean, you really have to do your homework and spend your time. But, you know, obviously opening weekend was, you know, it is what it is. That's the way it goes sometimes. Like last year and the year before, it was great. You know, so even in Arkansas, you know, to level set some expectations for people listening, you know, sometimes it's great, sometimes it sucks, sometimes it's in the middle. It's just kind of the way it goes. But the special thing about it is you have those opportunities for it to be great.
Yeah. Well, and I want to just like say what the highlights were for us. I mean, like honestly, yeah, the time in the blind was great. We got Ike out in the blind.
Yeah.
That was cool. See her running around a rice field like she didn't give a damn was very exciting for me. She got to see a goose retrieved.
Yeah.
So I got to go out there with Willie and his dog Roscoe, and Ike was just like, dude, what is that dinosaur, dude?
Yeah.
Like, and even Roscoe, he picked that sucker up. He's a big boy, but no, just getting that association, you know, I think it's important, and that was really special to you and I both. Even Ike trying to get out of bed with me and sleep with Cal every night. That was bullshit. I don't know why she won't sleep with me, bro. But I guess she just like, I don't sleep with my coworkers. You know, I mean, that's what I told Mom. I go, I guess with me, it's all business. And with you, it's just like all like love, you know? So it really feels like that's how the relationship is. But that was special to me, being able to get her out there. And
That was cool.
it was. And then, you know, the time with everybody around camp, the folks with Colton Hayes and that group. I mean, big shout out to all you guys.
Yeah, we smashed that Mexican spot that one night. That was glorious. Tell you what, man, the Burria, I'm not gonna, not that we would like, we're not big enough to really blow a spot up, so it doesn't really matter. But the Burria spot, or the Burria tacos at the spot in Jonesboro, like out towards like you're going, I guess that'd be the west side of town.
Going towards Cash.
I forget what that place is called, but oh my God, the Burria tacos are just out of this world.
Oh my gosh, dude, everything there is out of this world. The strawberry margaritas, everything. The folks are super nice. You know, I mean, but we were having so much fun. You know, we just made the best of it, and we were having so much fun that, you know, we all got together over at the lodge, and one of the farmers and Willie put together a giant stack of smoked ribs.
Yeah, feast.
Giant feast, and hosted everybody, and we had families out there, you know, and all the hunters, and it was a great time. And so many times I talked to somebody that night, and they go, dude, can you believe it's Sunday night? And you would have swore it was Friday night before the opener, because we were having so much fun. And that time with everybody, and, you know, especially just seeing all the families there and stuff like that was important to me. I thought that was a really good time.
Yeah, no, it was a great time, and looking forward to being back out there. New Year's around that time, we're gonna be out there for 4 or 5 days, and our cousin AC that has booked with Cade a couple times now, him and a couple of his buddies and us, we got an Airbnb out there, and we're gonna be doing some hunting out there, so looking forward to that. And then, of course, like we said earlier, we'll be back out there with Dirty Duck towards the end of January. So, but you know, coming off of the duck hunting, you know, straight back into like deer mode, and
like immediately,
because depending on where you're at up here in North Georgia, like where I know for a fact, like where my house is in Gwinnett County, they rut like Thanksgiving week, like the 22nd through the 28th.
That's when you see bucks running hard.
Yeah, that's when they'll since we've lived here, that's what they do. You look at the rut map. And
by the way, why he's saying this, if you don't know this already, it's because like 90% of them go through his yard.
Yeah, and if you want to know why I don't shoot them, it's because we live on a half acre and there's houses everywhere, so I could shoot them with my bow, but I'm going to end up on the news when I have to retrieve the deer from,
that would be so great. That'd be the best thing that ever happened to our podcast, honestly, as long as you didn't get in trouble.
Well, if they let me take the deer, I wouldn't get in trouble. There's nothing illegal about it.
Yeah, I think we need to get a petition going around your house. Like,
I know, right?
Everybody that lives around you, be like, dude, who wants to participate
in a potluck? Can we all sign off on this? Yeah, I'll cook this stuff for you. I'll give you a quart.
I will feed your whole family.
I'll give you a leg. Yeah, because they ain't nothing to see like 125-inch deer. And
no.
I mean, the biggest I've seen, like, no shit, is like...
What's up, guys? Tristan here. If you're like us, you need gear that's going to stand up to the elements and not break the bank. That's exactly what we love about Frog Talks. They just dropped their brand new Oxbow waterfowl series, and let me tell you, this stuff is built for serious hunters who don't want to quit when the weather turns nasty. It's tough, lightweight, and waterproof. Everything you need when you're out there chasing ducks. If you're looking to upgrade your gear this season, head over to frogtalks.com and use code OneHellOfALifeOutdoors at checkout for 15% off your order.
170 plus easy, like some Lee Ellis.
You're being
type deer.
No, you're being humble with that.
Yeah,
that deer is he's big.
Yeah, we got some urban monsters running around.
Dude, I just saw one last night.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, Lee. I'll tell you exactly where it was.
No, don't do that.
I will. I will, because I'm telling you, you're going to be hunting over somebody's swing set if you're going to shoot this deer. Dude, I'm going up. I live in the Hamilton Mill area. Yeah. You have to take Hamilton Mill Parkway to get to where we live, and it's 2 lanes each way, and it's houses everywhere, dude. Just houses outside of the country club and the golf course. And I was probably about half mile from the golf course and country club and stuff. And dude, I looked up last night, and it was a big one. It was one of those ones where you look at it and you go, oh shit. I mean, it did this, just the rack just came up, kept coming up. And, but the thing that blew me away about it is he looked body wise like, dude, I'm only like 3.5 years old. Wow. I mean, he looked like a quarter horse, I mean, just like had that body like the Great Prince off of Bambi or something. Like, he wasn't at his mature age yet. He definitely wasn't, but it was cool to see that. But to your point, the rut can be so much different within an hour north, hour south of us.
Yeah, for real. So we and I don't know, I think it seems like we've probably concluded that's a little bit earlier on the public land that we hunt than it is my house, which is an hour north. But, it's interesting because the private land we hunt at our buddy Matt's out in Athens, their rut is also like by the Georgia DNR rut map, the 22nd through the 28th. So it's kind of weird how it all kind of structures around us. But, obviously with what you were seeing around the middle of November, I mean, that was like prime rut activity. So we're kind of, when we got back into hunting after hunting deer after the duck trip, it was kind of like we're hoping that we're still getting, the remnants of the rut.
Well, and if you hunt the rut enough, everybody knows. And if you haven't experienced this, you need to know. And that is, the later the rut goes on is when the bigger boys start to show up. I mean, it's just that simple. That's the way it works consistently everywhere. And that's what we were hoping for and hunting hard for. And, I mean, I was out there. Tristan was out there this past week. We hunted several times.
We put a good 20 hours in the stand across maybe 3 days. So, I mean, that's pretty hard hunting.
And the thing I wanted to talk about on the podcast tonight is there's a thing called know when to say when sometimes. And I've went through it so many times in my hunting career on public land, is that, you have this spot and it's been a producer, you know it, you have confidence in it, especially when you have a 2 tree stand lock on set up. That's a lot of work when it comes to putting all that up, you can be so hesitant to, say, is it still as good as it was? Mm-hmm. Is something changed here? Because in the back of your mind, that if you're being honest with yourself, that shit, I got to take all this stuff down and move it, which is a pain in the butt, So, Anyway, we had this spot, Tristan and I, we've shot deer out of this area several years. It's been a good producer. We've had a lot of great memories there. Unfortunately, this year, it's public land. And we've had one guy start tying ribbons around trees like he's trying to support some kind of awareness thing. I don't know. It's just like he looked like he tried to find the biggest trees to tie a big orange ribbon around. So we know you're there, Bob. and then his trail camera was set up, 75 yards from our tree stand, 80 yards maybe, and we've had it up since end of August. But it's okay. He might not have seen it. That's fine. It's public land.
I think the deer got blown out of there.
Yeah, and long story short, when we decided, okay, hey, we're pulling the trigger on this, let's get down early this one morning, this past week. Let's go scout these areas that I'd previously scouted, thought would look good. And we start walking up the ridge, and we found another tree stand, which was really funny. And that just sealed the deal.
Yeah.
And in our minds, I go, dude, look, as much as this place was great, there's just the deer just going, man, I'll just go over here.
Yeah.
And so our thought was, let's go over here.
Right.
And so it's a little bit harder place to get to. We go over the hill, and this deer jumps up, which I think was a doe, and it's real steep valleys. Guys, when I'm saying steep, I'm saying 45-degree angle, hundreds of feet, like 300 would be probably close.
Yeah.
250, 300 feet at a 45-degree angle, so like that.
Mm-hmm.
And this deer was down in this bottom, and it went up, and this is getting close to the property line. It went up the hill, and, well, hell, the ground was wet, there was wind,
it rained
and
a bunch.
we're hunters, and what was next, Tristan?
Yeah, you're like, this was kind of funny. Actually, if you want a visual on this, I put together like a hunt vlog, and it's on our Instagram, or it's on my Instagram, and it's on our TikTok, of this, what happened. But essentially, we go to start stalking this thing, and it's the reason why is because of what you just said, and it's got its head down feeding.
And the wind's perfect.
And I ranged it's like 110 yards. And I was like, okay, well, maybe if I like come down the ridge we're on and then go back up and then
it's up on this ridge on the other side of us.
Yeah, I'm like, I can kind of use that in my favor, hide behind trees and kind of, go for it. So long story short, I start to stalk it, maybe make it 15 yards. And then I look back and he's like, yeah, that deer is walking and kind of crested the ridge and went over. So we're like, all right, well, we just kind of just like forgot about it and just started kind of just.
But we decided, hey, just in case.
Yeah.
Let's not just tromp up the hill.
Right. Yeah. We were just kind of game planning and like not being like super quiet at that point. We were kind of like, well, whatever. So we go up there and we thought it had been 10 minutes, 15 minutes. That thing probably just fed off. And It's gone. Well, the whole time we're walking up there, we're being kind of quiet and just, scanning. And I see it, and it's at 70 yards. And it's got its head down feeding. And hasn't heard us walking. Like, I'm like, okay, so we might have a chance here. So
I swear I saw him lick his lips. He was like, oh, baby, it's on.
Yeah, because to me, I'm like, I've really been trying to get a buck this year. Like, I probably could have shot 3 deer this year if I was, like, being...
But, dude, ultimate predator.
If I
stalking a deer on the ground.
Right. Well, and this, like... I've passed several deer this year, as my point, because I've been trying to get a buck. So, to me, the opportunity to shoot one on the ground stalking, I don't care what it is, I'm shooting it. So, long story short, still think this thing's a doe, and creep up to, like, I got on my hands and knees because I was like, basically, it's not a 45 anymore. If I could describe it, if you're watching the video, the deer's kind of up here, I'm up here. So there's a little bit of like terrain I can use in my favor, but not much. It's mostly I'm going to have to hide behind trees.
It's just feed on acorns.
Yeah, so I was using that little bit of a crest still, I guess, if you want to call it, when I was on my hands and knees. But if I would have been standing up, that would have been eliminated. So I crawled, and then I got up, and I range it, and I'm like, all right, it's at 50 yards. And at that point, I realized it's a spike. And I'm like, okay, so maybe that's why we're so close to this deer, because it's kind of stupid. I don't know. But anyway, about that time, it started kind of walking a little bit. And I'm like, okay, to keep like pace to get to.
Dude, when I'm videoing this, I got to tell you, from my perspective, though, I'm about 20 yards, and I'm thinking like, dude, I'm like the cameraman for Bear Grylls right now. I'm just like, I'm on the ground. I'm like making sure I don't screw this up with him, but I'm behind him, dude, trying to film this stuff, and And honestly, it's very hard to get the focus in. I just kept thinking, dude, if I could get one shot of like him and the deer,
Yeah.
you know, like, well, somebody's got to be blurred out, you know? So I tried doing it like where I got you, but the deer blurred out, but then the deer was in focus and you were blurred out.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So that, to me, just that challenge in itself was fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I kept thinking, Jesus, dude, are you gonna go up and punch him in the face? I mean, I mean, you were getting so close, but the depth perception from where I was looking at it, and you'll see it when you see it on camera.
It looks like
he's
right there.
Yeah, it looks like Tristan could spit on him.
Yeah, it is actually kind of crazy. And I guess just because the deer was higher elevation from me too, maybe that's part of it.
Yeah.
But so I got on my feet and started moving, walking at that point and trying to be as quiet as possible. But
Like ninja.
But you lose your balance a little bit and then you kind of stumble and then it's like, and you're like, shit. Versus
And those deer don't miss a beat,
versus
dude.
like, that's what I was trying to do. But one time I did.
I did too, and I was behind you, and I was like, dude. As soon as I did, I was like, I just like, dude. I hope I didn't screw this up.
So I got to like 45 yards or whatever, maybe 40, and I made a noise and it heard me, and then it went back down to feeding. And then I got another like yard, and then it heard me again, and then it stopped, and I was like, oh shit. So it was looking our way the whole time now, and then it turned around and faced its body towards me. I'm like, oh,
And then it started walking towards you.
I'm like, here we go. But then it started walking towards me, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I know, young bucks are kind of stupid, so like,
Well, that's when I really thought, dude, are you gonna spit on him?
Yeah.
Like punch him out.
So I was like, young bucks are kind of stupid,
Yeah.
so this might work out.
Yeah.
He might walk right up because they're curious, And basically, I had two small trees that I was hiding behind, like so small that like I was full draw on this deer because I knew it was the last opportunity. When he was walking towards me, it was the last opportunity I could draw back without him seeing me draw back.
Yeah.
Because his basically eyes were behind this tree. So
Yeah.
I draw back. And I'm looking at this skinny tree in front of me, and out of my left eye I can see the deer, and out of the right eye I can't. So I'm right-handed. I got my bow full draw, and I'm looking at my left eye, and I can see the deer looking right at me. And then I look out. I'm trying to shoot, and I'm like, "Fuck, I can't see him." Excuse my language. And so what I was like, he stopped. I didn't think that deer was going to come any closer at that point. Honestly, I thought he was about to start stopping his foot and then snoring at me. So I leaned outside of the tree and I was like, okay, he was completely frontal.
Coming right at you.
Yeah, frontal shot. And I was actually a little bit below him. So it was like the perfect opportunity to take a frontal shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I know he's about like 40 yards. And I don't even know what happened because I thought like I put
If you saw the tail of
essentially-
your feather kick up, your fletch kick up, you had a stick.
essentially like the way that I have one of those sites where you have a 20 and 30 yard pin and then you got to spin this wheel to make it 40 or whatever, which I was like, well, not doing that at this point. So basically I'm like, I'm going to put my 30 yard pin where I think it needs to be a 40 yard shot essentially. So I shoot and then I hear a snort and then my arrow, I just see my arrow vertical. I'm like, I don't even know how that happened. I don't know if it hit a stick, limb, whatever that I didn't see and it bounced up, whatever. Deer bounds off. Didn't end up getting the deer, but it was fun. That was pretty cool.
It was. We were not expecting that. And the funny thing that I loved about that, and I hope that you were like, all right, maybe my dad wasn't being dumb when he said that, was the night before I said, dude, you know what? We should get down about 9 o'clock and do some still hunting. You were like,
and I was like, dude,
what are you talking about? He said,
I'm like, I'm not doing that unless it's pouring down rain. That makes sense to me, but I'm like, nah.
I just thought that's the whole time when you were up there, I'm filming, I'm going, yeah, I'm a. It's what I was thinking, but anyway, but no, here's the cool thing, and here's the whole point of where we want to go with this. So if you're hunting public land, man, and it's just not working, you got to make a change. And so we made a change, went over and found this new spot, took everything down that morning, took it all over there. It was a bitch. We had to go way up on this other area. I'm not even going to say where it's at or what we did, but anyway, it's a beautiful spot. Where we sit you can see hundreds of yards, hundreds.
Yeah.
This whole open valley, it's just a beautiful.
It's up on this
spot.
ridge, all these fingers.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. And one of the smart things I want to point out to you guys, and I want you to always look for this opportunity, is that when you're looking at setting up a deer stand, number one, always know what your prevailing wind is. What's prevailing wind? Wind that is constant, or the most common wind during that time of year. Your prevailing wind could be different in the spring than it can be in the fall or the winter, etc. But wherever you're at, I know like when we were in Illinois, southwest wind was prevailing wind. You know, where we're at, it's really west, northwest.
Yeah, it's a lot of that.
It's a lot of that, you know. So, but I remember being down south in South Georgia, we was always having some kind of an east wind. You know, just, I don't know if it's the way that the wind turns down there by the coast or whatever it was, but it did that. So you need to know what your prevailing wind is. But here's my point. The way this ridge basically ran north and south. And it's a big, long fingered ridge. I mean, I would say stem to stern, that thing has probably got to be a quarter to a half mile long. I mean, I don't even know where the top of it is because it's on private land.
Yeah.
You know, but it goes all the way literally down to about 4 foot wide when it gets down to this valley. And where we set up was on the prevailing wind is going to be some kind of a west. So you're talking about a ridge that's running north and south. We want to be on the west side of that ridge. Okay. The only disadvantage of doing that is, yeah, you're starting to go down the ridge on that side, but you're going to have to put the tree stand way the hell up there. Right? So you're not like eye level with deer on the ridge. But what that does, and Tristan has seen it happen multiple times now, is you can have deer come downwind of you, right below you. Like literally, I would almost rather the wind be blowing right below us.
Yeah.
Going towards the valley on that opposite side, because they will not smell you guys.
I said to him, I'm like, we almost have like a bulletproof wind because
it's like a glitch in the matrix.
It kind of is, because
it really is.
It's just the way it was blowing over that, like just with our scent. Like, I mean, every deer we saw 6 deer that evening,
and most of them were downwind.
Well, yeah. Besides 2, they were all downwind.
Yeah. Didn't smell us at all, and I'm talking about from distances of 40 yards to 200 yards. You know.
What's up, guys? If you want coffee that doesn't suck, you probably can guess what I'm going to say. Get the Duck. Dirty Duck Coffee is the official coffee of the One Hell of a Life Outdoor podcast, and they have a great lineup of different coffee blends. Everything from Morning Wood and First Flight to Dark Dynasty and Suns Up, Guns Up. You can't go wrong with Dirty Duck Coffee. And they have a great lineup of cold brew cans, mocha, French vanilla, original cold brew, and cinnamon teal snickerdoodle. If you want 15% off your next order, use code OneHellOfALife15 on your next order.
Just our scent could have easily lingered down there, but here's the point: is
we did have a strong wind though, so that's probably the caveat there.
Well, the caveat, it's always like you want that 5 to 8 wind. That's perfect. 5 to 10. You start getting above 10, that, I don't know. The only disadvantage with that is you can't hear deer coming as easy, right? Yeah. Not that you're going to shut deer down, but it's a constant wind, and that's the thing that's important when you got that like 5 to 10, is that you're going to keep that wind going constant. But this wind, so in the mornings, if you're sitting like I'm talking about, and you can find that unique setup like that, what's going to happen is in the mornings, that wind, when it's really cold, anytime really, the valleys are always going to be colder because cold air sinks, right? So in the mornings when you have those thermals and the sun comes up and hits that, those thermals come up the hill. So your wind's blowing this way, plus you got thermal going this way. Your shit's just blowing up way above where anything could smell you. Yeah. And you know me, I'm smoking 1,000 cigarettes. And dude, when I see that, it's you know what it is. It's one of those. As a smoker, I look for these like perfect opportunities to smoke as many as I can. It's a glitch, really. But when I see that happen, I'm like, yes, I can smoke a cigarette. Tristan, he's usually below me when I'm filming, and even when I know the wind's not blowing down, he'll be like, dude, quit smoking, you know. In these instances, oh no, dude, I could have a freaking big old Cuban cigar up there and nobody would know about it. So, but look for that type of situation. And our point with this whole scenario is we made that change, and it was a bitch. and we had to make that, and it was cold as hell. Our fingers were frozen and doing all that stuff to make that change. But dude, just in the 3 sits, how many deer we see?
6 and 4, maybe 5. So 11. No, we've only hunted there twice. So 2 sets, we've seen like 11 deer. So
Yeah,
that's pretty dang good.
And one that it was a shooter anywhere.
Yeah, he was. He
was nice.
Yeah, he was. 8-10 inch G2. 8-10 point type buck. He was probably somewhere around 120 inches, if not more. But he was nice. I wish he probably would have been the biggest buck I've ever shot, which would have been cool. But yeah, I mean, we feel pretty good about that spot.
Showing rat activity.
Yeah, he came running in. That's where I first heard him. So, and then he went where 2 does had gone. So, might still have some life there if, they come back into heat. We still got some time. So, that's kind of the next little thing for us here in the next couple weeks.
Hold on, before we go there,
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention this too. Because I want to know how many people have experienced this. I've only experienced it twice, maybe 3 times in my life. Tristan got to experience it for the first time in his life. So, the last evening that we hunted there, we had a Forky come in, and he was down below us quite a bit, and I just messing around with the grunt call, which, by the way, the extinguisher grunt call is so great. He came up, he was looking our way, and we had a standoff with him, but I guess he heard this chaos going on the ridge over and took off that way. Well, next thing you know, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, like,
funny.
all hell breaks loose. And we can see across this valley to the top of this ridge, and I'm talking couple 100 feet up, we see this deer come running at Mach speed.
I thought it was a coyote at first
Mach
because of
speed.
how low it was to the ground, because it's just hauling
Ass, dude. As fast as you can go down, parkouring off of trees, ridges, everything, jumping 30-foot creeks. I mean, just psychotic. Dude runs down the hill, and this other fawn was following it and stopping and going like, bro, what's your problem?
Yeah.
Well, then this buck sees it, and he's like, "Bah, bah." And he comes down, he gets down there and does that. Bah! What the hell was that?
Yeah. You looked at me and you're like, did you hear that? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what was that?
You called it a bark.
Yeah, it sounded more like a bark.
It's the 3rd or 4th time I've heard this in my life, and I'm not even getting, that's not what I was talking about in the beginning. But tell me, you guys, drop comments, message us if you've heard a deer make this super sharp, it almost pops your ears.
Yeah, like
it's
a bark.
pop.
Yeah.
It's so super sharp. He did that to like go, stop it. Like, because she was running like an idiot, dude. And this valley bowl that she was running in was no lie. Like, if I had to flatten it out, like 100 yards in diameter, she would run across that thing, go up the ridge.
It was the zoomies.
Dude,
like,
the zoomies like you never seen. And I was up there laughing
me
my
too.
ass off, dude.
I was like, what is going on?
And this buck is just standing there going, and he's just like, dude, I am not keeping up there. But she would like run, like she was trying to play keep away. Like she would run out of sight and you wouldn't even hear her anymore. And then all of a sudden you hear, and she just come flying by and that buck was just standing there. But we got to watch this whole show. But here's what I want to know from you guys. If you've seen that behavior before, the old timer that I learned from, he said that was a fawn coming into heat for the first time. That what he swore was that their privates back there get on fire, get tickling them, or they can feel it burning something, and they just don't even know how to react to it, and they just get like crazy. And I've only seen it one other time, and it was extremely similar. And I just sat there and laughed my ass off. Have you guys ever witnessed that with a young doe fawn? Because there's something to it.
One thing I'll say is I've seen them do it at the park that we live by at our house in the spring.
Really?
So I just wrote it off as I've seen them do that crazy up and down shit. And
Just having fun?
The mom's just sitting there eating, just watching, just crazy kids. So I just wrote it off to like, is this just a crazy young animal? Like you'll see like baby horses do the same thing when they're like, first kind of
kicking around and stuff like that, but not like this, dude. That was like
I've seen one
like
do
somebody
it like that.
it was just like somebody gave him a big fat line of cocaine. Like literally, it went on for what, easily 15 minutes. It seemed like easily 15 minutes.
I mean, we definitely saw it for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, but then you kept hearing it.
I
don't know how long we heard it for, but no, that was pretty cool. It's definitely a good spot. I mean, we'll see what happens. I think
we feel real confident on harvesting meat there. I mean,
yeah,
we do.
We're a little bit off the X, we think, just because we set up a camera up on the ridge, and we haven't seen as much activity as we've seen when we're hunting it down in kind of the valley, that transition point. So,
but it's a good observation point, and sometimes you got to do that, right? And you know, you talked about earlier, like you don't know as much as the local boys do about duck hunting, right?
Yep.
Same thing about deer hunting, right? You don't know as much as the local person does about that area. You learn an area, and we already know right now. Next year, we've got to be down in this one certain valley if the wind plays fair.
Yeah.
We have to go down there, and you guys, when I say when the wind plays fair is if you go down, if you're not on top of a ridge, I'm just saying this, do this. And you're down in a valley of any sorts, you've got to figure out what the wind is doing, where you're standing, where it's at in the tree. So you need some way of testing that over a long period. And fortunate for me, I smoke. And one thing I'll do is I'll get up and stand, and I'll blow a big puff of smoke and just watch it. Watch where it goes, right?
Non-smokers, that's called a windicator.
Yeah, windicator. Yep. And but then what I also do is I walk around. I go out 30, 40 yards, and I blow a puff of smoke. I get down. I want to see where that wind is going. And unfortunately, you can have, we've all seen it, those spots that are the greatest spot in the world that you can't hunt, right? And that might be the case.
Yeah, the wind never plays true.
Yeah, you know, so, but we learned something. That's the point. We increased our odds. That's the point. Get out there and move around if you need to. I wasn't trying to throw shade on the other public land hunters. That just happens. You know, and I like I've always said, I don't think people ever set up on you on purpose. I think it's just lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, but anyway, we're looking forward to hunting that area, and I think it is an area that we could get a late season buck in.
Yeah.
I think the deer have shifted to where nobody's walking at, and we got a chance.
Yeah, no, we definitely got a chance. We'll be out there this weekend, so fingers crossed we can seal the deal. I'm getting a little trigger happy, so I don't know how much more patient I'm going to be for a buck, but I'm definitely not going out of deer season without shooting another deer. If there's any aspect of it I can control, that's what I'm going to control.
Yep. Well, moving forward, Tristan, we can't keep everybody up all night. Mom's already mad at me probably, but no, but seriously, what we're super excited about, it's been over 3 years of lottery tries between us and our group. And we finally are going back home. I call it back home. It's the roots of our duck hunting, and going back home to Florida for a lottery hunt. We'll keep the name of where we're going, I guess, quiet for now, but y'all know what it is if you go there.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Yeah, so, but we're going to be filming 100%, and we're going to show you guys the reality of what that looks like. And, yeah, it's going to be a good time, man. I cannot wait. We've got a good friend of ours, Jay. Big shout out to you. He and I have helped each other out, talked about him several times on this podcast, but it's a true testament of hunters helping each other out. You pat my back, I pat your back, and now we've got one of the greatest guides in the world in Florida.
Well,
no, I'm just kidding.
It's pretty cool.
He's not a guide. I want to be just a friend.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because, like, I mean, virtually, we've never like met this guy in person, but just from years of hunting the same places and him seeing our videos and stuff like that, like, we've been able to share information to each other that has allowed us both to be more successful. Now,
others.
Yeah, and others. And Jay's like knows this place like the in and out of his hand. So like we had been talking over the years, like, hey, if you guys ever pull this, like, let's hunt together because I know what's up. We'll shoot some ducks. And you know, thankfully, because we don't have there's part of this place where you definitely need a boat if you're going to end up hunting there. So thankfully, Jay does have a boat because we don't have a boat anymore. So we would be struggling there.
Hey.
No, I wouldn't throw any shade on that. It's just nice to have a connection
with somebody. But that, I mean, who would have known? I mean, I think Jay and I first met online. Golly, it's got to be 5-6 years ago now.
Yeah.
You know, and so thankfully this is the first time that we're going to be able to shake hands. But I just love the fact that man, he helped me the very first time. I don't even know why you reached out to me, Jay, because I'm kind of dumb. But no, but he did. He just reached out to me, dude, to help out. And that's how it started, was him reaching out. And, you know, I had to pay it back and help some veterans that he knew get their first duck hunt, get limits. You know, and that was about as satisfying for me as a veteran as it gets. And it's just been a great relationship, and look forward to getting out there and you know, especially getting to hunt with him.
Yep. So guys, yeah, we appreciate you.
Is it me, you, and Jay?
No, and Drew.
Oh, sorry, Drew. Drew, I can't wait to see your fuzzy ass.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a good time getting back there to the roots.
You know, the only reason why I say it is there's some public land areas that are three to a group, and some that are 4.
Right. Yep.
So
U+3 or U+2.
Yep.
But yeah, no, super excited to get back down there and do that whole thing. We got that like December 20th. So yeah, but thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah.
It was awesome just being able to do a podcast, just us. Hopefully you're still listening at this point, but we've had a lot of fun just kind of recapping what we've done, and kind of just, it's fun to just we're talking to ourselves, but like we feel like we're talking to somebody. So I don't know. It's kind of fun to like revisit some of the stuff that's happened over the last 6 weeks, because we haven't had the opportunity to do just us podcast, and I don't even know how long.
Well, and I think, you know, and thankfully though, there's a lot of folks that do listen to us that like what we do and like to hear about what we do, and we love sharing that with you guys, just like as if we were all sitting around the campfire, you know. So
absolutely. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in, and yeah, it's one hell of a life.
It's one hell of a life.
I've been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on a midnight train. Going too fast now, think I'll slow down, standing in the pouring rain.